Coaches across the country used the Coachpad this past season to be more efficient with their scout card prep on the weekends as well as when out on the practice field working with their scout teams. Whether you're a coach using a computer program to create cards or drawing them by hand, the Coachpad is for you. Never printing paper or stuffing a binder, clearly seeing scout cards outdoors in the bright sun, and using the coach pad on game days, syncing diagrams from the press box to the sideline were some of the features coaches enjoyed this season. This offseason, get your coach pad at thecoachpad.com to get your program ready for next season. Thecoachpad.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. I have my friend Dan Beard here today. He is the special teams coordinator, linebackers coach at Millersville University out there in Pennsylvania. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're trial and error some things in here and laughing our butts off. So you've been on here frequently. And I don't think anything's really changed since last time we talked. But has there any? Obviously you're going through the ebbs and flows and there at Millersville and kind of building that and working on recruiting right now. Anything else I'm kind of missing there background wise or since last time?
No, we just got a great staff here in Millersville. Our head coach JC Morgan, Jeff Tomasetti, Matt Suchak, Matt Kelleher, Ryan Barrick, Mike Shinkus. It's a great staff to work with, so that they're all doing a great job. And we're all hitting the road recruiting right now. So we're just it's nice to sit down and talk some ball to get some X's and O's in. So.
Well, yeah, and we're going to mess. And for those listening, you're just going to have to listen. But for the visual people, we're going to play around with this whiteboard feature because I have questions and I'm visual. And I know Coach is always on the move, so you never know what he has on him and what computer, and it just makes it simpler. And we're going to talk some three high safety stuff because, I'll just be frank. I listened to one of my other friends, Glenn Schutzow, the defense coordinator at Ohio Northern, talk at our association meeting the other day, and he was talking his transition to three high. And I know you've talked three high on another podcast before. I've had obviously Runda on many a moons ago at this point, back when he was at Little Old Bluffton. Now he's a big time coordinator at Idaho State. And, before we get started, why did you guys transition to the using a lot of the three high safety stuff?
Yeah, well, we found that one of the things was personnel wise, it fit our personnel a little bit better in terms of we had a lot of athletes, linebackers, DB types on the field, we were able to maximize our D linemen and rotate them and keep them fresh. So we kind of got to it that way, and our defense coordinator, Coach Suchak, Matt, we did a phenomenal job. We started doing it in 2019. We were playing a lot of spread teams and true 2x2 and, spreading you out. And we were 4 down at the time. And we felt it gave you some more answers in terms of, from coverage standpoints. And then, also just being able to match numbers on the perimeter, numbers, 2x2 to 3x1. And, it's been really good for us.
And we'll talk about some of that, but obviously you guys don't see some of the stuff we see. Hashes are different, but also you might see a triple team once a year or whatever. But and hell, you might start seeing that more now that Harding won a national title. But obviously at the high school level, we see a lot more triple power T, wing T stuff. Kind of before we get into the real depth of what's just from where do you start your middle safety? I've heard it called a Viper, Stinger, Jack. One, what do you call it? And then two, kind of where do you start depth wise in your base rules?
Yeah, we call them, just our nickel. And when we originally got to it, we were taking a defensive lineman off and putting an extra DB on. So, it just made sense. I've some people call it the dime, some people call it the Viper, like you said, but we'll line him, anywhere, 8 to 10. Starting in the middle of formation, and obviously what you're going to get, from a formation standpoint, are you getting 2x2, are you getting 3x1, are you getting two backs, and then kind of adjust from there. But kind of a base is that 8 to 10 alignment. And really what you're trying to do with the three high is, you're trying to show, that 3 on a shelf look where the offense can't identify, is it 1 high, is it 2 high, is it middle of the field open, middle of the field closed, and really put some doubt into the offense. And then the thing is, offenses, they're starting to pick up that, hey, a lot of times it is this, hey, it is this middle guy that is the guy that's telling the story. So now if they're starting to see, hey, the middle guy's telling the story, well, now that's where you can start having some fun and inverting and playing around with it, to where, again, you're still confusing the quarterback's eyes of, hey, is it one high, is it too high, is it middle of the field open, middle of the field closed? So again, really it's what are you seeing pre-snap, what does it become post-snap? And sometimes even keeping the pre-snap picture, and if you change it up enough, now the offense is guessing.
Okay. Now I'm curious, because I've seen a couple of different things. Is your base rule the tight front stuff, or is it, because I've seen some people they're 4-0-4 and they're moving into stuff and they like a lot of movement. And I've seen other where it's at 4-0-4-I as their kind of base rule. Obviously, with this, you're trying, and I think just general, you're trying to force everything outward and get wide. You're spilling everything. Everything's getting wide. You want, essentially, my understanding, one of these three making the tackle. Ideally, him, but one of those three making the tackle virtually every time. They're your quote unquote free hitters if you're bouncing everything correctly. Would you say that part's correct?
Yeah, I would say that is definitely correct. And then the one thing we're doing with our front is, a lot of times our nose is going to set that. And then if we're playing the true tight front, with your your 2-4 eyes, we call them the tackle and the anchor, or two tackles. But basically, you're getting that front. And then what you're trying to do is, again, occupy these two, there's your B gap, occupy these two, there's your B gap, occupy this A gap. And then again, you have your Mike here. So now your Mike can work A to flow. And then again, you've got, your rover or sandbacker, whatever you call them, your overhang defender, and then your will backer. Let's say the field's this way. All right, now your apex, and again, you can gap this all out to where, like you said, the true goal is to get this thing spilling out to the sideline, so then you can get those extra numbers at the point of attack, depending on how you're trying to fit and vice everything. So,
now, I mean, with that, like, how much do you adjust? I'll phrase it this way. Obviously, if you're in a tight front, how much are you adjusting? Are you is it solely like against 2x2, we got a mic in the box, or is there some situations that's going to make you maybe play a certain coverage backside to keep another backer in and say that other backer is split out? Do you have the ability to do both, or do you have kind of what is the base preference there?
Yeah, the base preference would be this, is that, apex them, like if this is true 2x2, so if this is the running back, so if this is true 2x2, the key would be to apex this, and I'll draw the front here, since you got the backers, and this is pretty cool that you can draw on this, man. This is awesome.
I'm just amazed that we can do both at the same time. So this is making my world right here, making my life easier.
So the base thing you'd love to do is just apex these two, top of the triangle, split the difference between the end man line of scrimmage and number two. And then what we're telling these guys is really key the mesh point right here. So feet and cement, bounce your feet, key the mesh. And the reason is with RPO is that back to me right here, if they run the slant, if the quarterback pulls it, I'm in the slant window, so I'm protecting that. If I'm the quarterback player and he pulls it, great, I can play that there. And then the thing we tell the Mike is he's reading true triangle, your guard, tackle, guard. So if you're getting zoned, let's say they're zoning this, okay, here, base blocking it, and again, working to the second level, is if you're getting base zone here, that this guy, the Mike, can say, hey, now he realizes zone, there's no pullers. He'll sit here, bounce his feet, and then his eyes go to the mesh point as well. So if that quarterback pulls it, he can redirect, and now you get a 2-for-1, plus you get the nickel that can insert, so you get a bonus number. So you always can get a +1. The main principle we teach our guys is it all starts with this, is that if the quarterback hands the ball off, okay, right, this guy can't block anybody, and the quarterback's not going to block anybody, right? So right there, you've got 9 blockers to 11 defenders, you're +2. Okay. Now you say, okay, well, hey, now they want to zone read it, or hey, whether they want to arc it or read the backer. All right. So now you get your, oh, that's bad. We're going to do that. Now you get your 10 on 11, because now they've added in the other option. Or if they truly want to even it out, 11 on 11, they run the RPO. Well, the thing we tell our guys is at a certain point, that quarterback's going to hand the ball off. And once he hands the ball off, the guy running the ball can't block anybody. The quarterback's going to pull it and carry out the fake or illusion that he's running it, but at a certain point, he's not. And then our eyes should take us back to who the true ball carrier is. After they clear the RPO window, we should gain our numbers, man. So the thing we tell these guys is, like, especially on the overhangs, like, make this quarterback's window cloudy to where he doesn't know, hey, are you the quarterback player? Are you playing the RPO window? And when in doubt, when quarterbacks aren't sure what they do, they hand the ball off. So once we force the ball to get handed off, we get our 9-on-11 advantage again. So everything comes back to, getting +2, +1 with all our fits. And it goes back into the spill theory, spill everything to the sideline, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It makes 100% sense. And now, I mean, I heard you talk about it on your other podcast, and you kind of mentioned it there, like, and I know you kind of don't really have them take the old, like, have them take the old school, like, read steps. They're more bounce steps in place, just because, again, as you've talked before, if he's running a slant, okay, you take your read steps, you're getting too far into the weeds.
Yep.
If you're gaining depth at all, I mean, or getting out here, you're out of the slant window anyways. So, like, and I understand the bounce steps here, like, that makes sense. But you mentioned bounce steps here. What is his initial footwork, and is it different than your non-3 high stuff?
It's really the same across the board. Is really takes those bounce steps and let this thing declare. And as he's taking his bounce steps, the mic here is reading this. So he's either going to get zone left, zone right. Okay. All right. A double pullers, whether it's pin and pull. All right. Let me clean this up a little bit. All right. Oh, I didn't want to do all that. But basically he's reading this, put the back here as well. He's reading this through the triangle. And then if he is getting pullers, so he's getting down block, pull. Now he can give the pull, and match the puller type deal. So everything initially starts with these three, and then in the backfield, if he gets a puller, he's going to match a puller. And that's including if it's power read or counter read, because we just want to keep it consistent. That we're not confusing. Well, hey, if it's counter read, now read back to this, and it looks great on the board, but when you get out to the field, it's a little bit confusing. So we try to tell him to match the pullers, and then if it's true zone, now his eyes go to the back. So if we're getting zone here, let me draw this front back up. Again, we got a 4-eye, a 1, a 4-eye. All right, we're apexed. So if you're getting, a true zone deal, okay, where, hey, they're here to this, okay, combo to this up, okay, here up, and then, hey, this guy's the read player. Right now his eyes go to the back. Okay, it's zone. Well, what's the back doing? If that back is downhill, he's going to press that open gap. If that back is outside, so it's more of an outside zone track, he's now going to stay in his shuffle and then press once the back declares. So the nice thing is he's not getting caught up in the wash, and you can truly get him as an extra number on the perimeter. The nice thing we teach this guy is, all right, he's really basically reading almost the same thing, and then he's playing kind of the backside of zone. So this guy can be the fast flow. He can be the extra hitter. If this Mike ever gets caught up, he can make him right.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Now, from that, like, and then before I ask any more technique, like, my other question is, when you get trips, I've seen a couple different ways on how this might align to it. And then I'm going to assume, do you just bump this to make it almost look like a 3-2 box, essentially, and then bump that we would essentially, and I will attempt to not butcher my drawings here. Your nickel and your safety pretty much play 4 over, essentially becomes 4 over 3 at that point.
Yep. And basically what we'll do with these two is we'll basically go put the mic here in a 20, and then we'll put this guy in a 40 or a 50. So that way you've got even distribution that you can protect the box, but you still have numbers on the perimeter. If you're getting a 3-by-1, you still got 4 for 3. And the other thing you're eliminating is you're not totally putting this mic in true conflict. Like, you're not asking him, hey, he's got to play 3 vertical, and then also, hey, play the inside zone scheme. So you're keeping this guy out of conflict. And the same thing too, by putting him in a 50, is that if the back's the other side, all right, he's still in good enough leverage here that he can play the quarterback if he pulls it. Or hey, they run a wheel route, or you're getting 3-by-1 but tighter splits. You're getting the mesh rail. He's not too tight inside the core of the box, so he can't get out and release on that as well.
Okay. And then I'm assuming also your backside safety also has any cleanup support backside as well in case they try to do anything dumb backside. So I want your suggestions or ideas because again, we talked before we came on screen a little bit, like in the college world, you might see a triple option team once a year. You're not going to see any true power T or wing T teams. It's just that's not college offense. But at our level, obviously you're going to get this. I mean, most high schools will get this. So kind of just, I mean, and I'll actually just erase the rest of this. Obviously, the corners can go over the receivers here, but kind of knowing that buck sweep, trap are kind of normal things that you're going to see from a team like this, what do you think, just general alignment wise, without knowing personnel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that you really want to do is, go 4-eye, go 1, roll your rover up here 1-by-1 outside of this. Okay. And then keep your 4-eye on the backside. And then roll up your will here, basically in a 3-by-3 or a 1-by-1. Put your mic here in a 30. Bring your nickel down here in a 30. Now, the other thing is personnel wise, if you feel like this guy's a better in the box guy, put the nickel here 3-by-3 and put the will here in a 30. Just depends on personnel wise who you feel more comfortable with. And then again, put your safety here 2-by-9 outside of this. Put your whip here, 2-by-9 outside of the tackle. And now you can play your base robber over here where, hey, he's mod, MOD, and he's robbing it. Your true old school Virginia Tech robber, Bud Foster style. I know you had him on the podcast. That was awesome. Type deal. But playing that, and then playing your match quarters over here, and you can play it the two ways. If he's got 2 vertical or out with the safety. He's manning this up basically. And he's got final 3 of the flat. Same thing. He's got final 3 of the flat. But then again, you can keep this boxing count because again, hey, you're thinking buck sweep. All right, hey, we want to down this. Okay, work this. Let's say they want to go, center guard type deal here. Your old 121. I think that's how they numbered it, right?
I mean, yeah, I've never gone full Delaware wing T numbering. I've done more up to date numbering, but yeah, I get your
But then the nice thing is you got this, and then what you can do here with this guy is, all right, hey, he can set the edge, he can box it, all right, he can spill that first puller, he can get side in the second, he can cap it off, secondary support, working your cutback. And again, you can get everything set up the way you need to. The other thing is if you feel more comfortable with, hey, you want to flatten it out right now, the minute this guy gets a first puller, he can go spill the first puller. All right. He can be your box player, set the edge. You're here, and then you can, have him really secure this guy if he's vertical, okay. So you're not putting that safety and run pass conflict along those lines. So that would be kind of my major suggestion, type deal is, again, create that head up 4, create those 4 eyes saying that, okay, hey, if you want to pull your guards, that's fine. Because now my tackles are going to have 1-on-1 blocks with their tackles, type deal. So I think, that's the other thing, again, I think you're putting somebody on the center, so, hey, if they want to pull him out, that guy's right in the hip. If he's trying to down block, he's got to deal with them. And again, you got 30-30 backers, they're in the box. They've got force players outside of them. They can just read true pullers and flow and get over top to add numbers.
Okay. Now, my other main question, I'm just going to clear everything. Because, again, teaching is more my interest than anything. So when we're here, let's just say we're in doubles. I don't feel like drawing everything. And we got our question. Do you flip is your baseball field boundary, or are you just fair?
Yeah, we're field boundary.
Okay. It seems more and more like as I talk to 3 high guys, a lot of them are just high school or college or just true, like we're just true field boundary, like, which is kind of shocking because y'all's hashes are so much different than ours. But my real question is, obviously, if you're getting some sort of inside run, because let's be honest, if I'm a high school or college DC offense coordinator, I see four quote unquote in the box, really five if you're going to count your nickel. Like, okay, we're going to try to run inside. How do you practice or teach the fold ins? And because I mean, obviously, if you're going to try to run any type of this against a spread team at the high school level, you got to be able to teach this and this extremely well to make sure like nothing's breaking for 18.
Yep, absolutely. So the first thing is like when you're getting that is like if I am that Will or Sam Rover whatever is, once I take my bounce steps and I'm seeing like, let's say you've got zone for instance is, if you just run an inside zone here, all right, knowing hey he's going to play one of the A gaps, front side or backside, you can get the B, you can get this, is that having that Mike, really read the shoulders of that back, so that he doesn't get, especially they're trying to accomplish, so that he doesn't get caught up, getting all in the mix, especially if it's outside flow or he wants to be there. So really having them see, where that mesh point is at. And if that back starts to work downhill, all right, now they want to shuffle. And we tell them, kind of stay on the fence where, hey, there's shuffle. So, push, slide, shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage. And that's the number one key if you're a linebacker, in any scheme, and whether we're playing a 3 down, a 4 down, we're blitzing, is that we really emphasize keeping those shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and especially when you're moving, whether you're shuffling, whether you're pressing, that you don't turn the shoulder. Now you give an easy blocking angle, which is really huge. So we'll drill it every day. We'll do a mesh read drill, which I can pull up and show you some film of that here in a second, that we do. And then the other thing is really just teaching the block destruction, whether you're getting your speed rip combinations or your button press, from that standpoint. And like I said, I'll pull those up here on the podcast so you can see that. But those are the big things in terms of drilling it. And then really just the eyes, where the eyes are at, teaching them. And then, when you're looking at your practice schedule, like we get good 12 to 15 minutes of individual, we're spending at least 8 minutes of that in run fits, with and this safety will join us as well, where we're working your basic ones. You're getting your zone, your inside zone, your mid zone pullers, and just drilling those basic run fits every day so that their eyes are trained to it. And then just the base fundamentals of block destruction. I mean, every day as a defense, we have a block destruction, tackling, and turnover circuit. Our DC will keep the time for it. He'll run a different station, and then I'll have tackling. Our D line coach Shinkus, will have a block destruction, and then our DB's guy will have a turnover, whether it's a fumble recovery or interception. So putting that all together is really how we really drill it and teach it and take it from the board and the scheme. And I'll pull the film up. I'll share my screen so I can pull the film up. But that's how we kind of drill it from that aspect. And then just schematically knowing that, hey, if we're playing that true tight front, our B gap should be taken care of. We know one of the A gaps is going to be taken care of with the nose. So really it's the backside A gap to where, hey, if this nickel is fast flow, then we should be on the cutback window to close it. If he's playing fast or the Mike presses downhill and he's replacing the Mike backside, we should be okay. We can be a little bit more patient. So we tell this guy, you've really got a tempo. Is that A gap open or is that A gap close?
Okay. Now, before we get to the practice film, my last question for you before we get to that is how has this altered drills or practice schedules or how you break up players in practice? Like, would this be in a lot of your base stuff? I mean, obviously it's not the only thing you run, but I mean, obviously to me, obviously you're going to make some adjustments than running a regular 4-2-5 or 3-3 stack.
Yeah. The big thing for us is just, this guy will spend time with both myself, and Coach Suchak, our defensive coordinator who coaches our DBs. So if we're doing some run fit pieces, we'll work this. And then we get group time in our schedule. We're very fortunate. We get a lot of group time, in our practice schedule from our head coach. So when we get a group time, like if we have a 12-minute group period, 6 minutes, these guys will spend with me and we'll hit the base run fits, and then 6 minutes they'll be with Coach Suchak, and we'll basically split them up. We'll have half of these guys with us, half of the other guys there, and then they'll get both fits. So a lot of times if we're working the run fit piece, then Coach Suchak, our defense corner, is working, the 3-over-2 pass combos, or, specific route combos, or, coverages for that week that we're playing, and top routes we're seeing. So they get kind of the best of both worlds. So we do a lot of that in a group period, and then individual, we'll kind of split them. So, if the corners and safeties are working a little bit more, maybe man technique, or working something more specific to that, these guys can come and work with the linebackers. Or some days, hey, it's just, the 3 linebackers that we have, and then we can work some of our base in the box fits. But this guy's kind of a hybrid guy. He gets cross-trained, about us. But I think the nice thing is, if you're in that situation, is that, sitting down as a staff, I think something we do a great job. I think Matt does a phenomenal job, is we sit down and really, hey, making sure we're speaking the same language when we talk about, hey, run fits, force this, so that even though it's different guys coaching them, the kid's hearing the same things over and over and over, those buzzwords, those key coaching points, that really help him, because he is the guy that is split during practice time. So I'll kind of fly through this. So, this is kind of a base drill, again, practicing shoulders. So like we'll do this every day of linebacker Indy. And again, you can see how he's tilting a little bit. So we're kind of breaking some habits there. But just the motor movement stuff is really key. And then let me get to the mesh drill. Yeah, and again, this is a good majority of our Indy. So you can see right here, we'll put the cans, we'll put the 2 guards, and then the back. And again, this guy right here is a safety. So during this period of practice, he's with us. And again, we're just working the base run fits here. So here you're getting some pullers. So we're working to add the puller. He becomes the backside guy over the top. And again, it's not a high impact period, but really just making them train the eyes, match the eyes. And we'll work this almost every day in practice. And again, it's game plan based on what schemes are you seeing run, are you seeing counter, are you seeing pass, from that standpoint. And again, really training their eyes that you can see he's bouncing his feet, seeing the mesh point. All right. And then we're working on flow, setting the box and it's really good. And then the other drill we'll do is we'll literally take it even simpler. To where we'll literally say, hey, it's a zone play, 3-man zone press. So, this can be really just your Mike, your Will, or your Mike, your Rover. You give them a, center guard tackle box, half line deal, and really just training them of, all right, you're going to get blockers at you. How do you fit? And again, it doesn't have to be a high impact drill. It can be one of those where you shuffle, you press, you speed rip, and just get to the fit. But really teaching, this is like day 1 of spring ball, so when you're looking at this, we get the full clip to feel play is, again, bounce the feet, bang, shuffle, press, redirect. So you can work all your zone schemes, and, you're breaking it whole part whole. And again, now it's outside zone. And you can see there, so our force player sets in, then our Mike, he's reading shoulders to the back. So I'm the back right now. He's reading my shoulders. He's on that shuffle path, and then he can work to press it. So again, it's not a high impact drill, but it's the fundamentals, it's the footwork. And again, you can go half line to full line to then, full group type deal, which is nice. So right now, this is our Indy period, and then we'll go to group with the D line and then that extra safety. So we've already worked our zone fits in terms of the Mike, the Will, or the Mike, the Rover, to the half line side, and then we'll put the whole picture together. So it's really beneficial there. And then the other thing you can do is just take the ball out. So now what we'll do is we'll literally take the line out. So now you put 2 backers out or 3 backers out. All right. And now right here, they're just reading here the mesh. So you can see the bounce steps. All right. He's downhill. So now he can go to press, and now he can shuffle here to square. Cause like you said, you set up your 3 cones there, and he's working to close that open A gap. So now you've got that opportunity, and there you go. That you can get the vice fit along those lines. And then you can put the back on both sides, right here. Okay. Now the back's to me. So he's knowing, hey, if he pulls it and I clear the RPO window, I can add there as a quarterback player. And then this guy, he sees the hands. Okay. He didn't hand it. So now I can work back, and now you can work a vice fit drill. So you're breaking it down whole part whole. You did zone fit with the line. Now you take the line away and you focus the mesh. So you incorporate both of those to really help them. But that really, is really how we kind of train it, and you just piece it together, whole part whole. It's a great drill. Again, doesn't have to be high impact. You can do this on a Friday in a walkthrough. You can do this pregame, but really just training their eyes, their footwork. Right now it's outside zone. So he's being patient here in the cutback window. He's shuffling. Now he realizes the back turns up, and he'll press it. And again, this is, first, couple days here of spring ball. So we just put the 2. You can eventually put all 3 to where you get the guy forcing, you get the Mike there, and then you get your cutback player. So, whether you're, 3 down, 4 down, whatever, you're going to use these base fundamentals, at linebacker play, which really helps, especially against RPO teams. And then let me get you in action here if I can find it. So here it is in an actual game, how it shows up. Okay, so they run the quarterback, get it from the tight angle here. Sorry, my Zoom skills aren't as good as they used to be. So again, all right, they look over here, but you can see here, all right, we've got our 3 guys out. So you just saw the drill. We're sitting there, we're bouncing our feet. They got zone read, quarterback's going to pull it. This is against Westchester. There's the bounce steps. All right, pulls it. You can see he's patient. The mic works back over the top, and you get the fit that you want. So, like I said, you see the drill. You have the 3-man zone press. You've got, the mesh key read, and then again putting it all together, in game film, so your drills are showing up, working over the top, and then bang, there it is. Same thing, we tell that Mike, hey, press downhill, and then if you see that quarterback pull it, now you can add back. So now you get a 2-for-1, you get a vice fit, and you get what you want. So, works out. And then from a block destruction standpoint, again, teaching those in the box techniques. This is my favorite block destruction drill. Simple, but again, you're getting it to where they're going to strike, thumbs up, elbows together, run the guy past the red bag, and then get the fit at the end. And you can see he's extending, thumbs up, elbows together, speed to lock. Does a great job driving him past the bag. All right, good angles there. And you have each guy do this, and you rotate it through. Again, you can see here. Now, the one thing that you got to really work on, you can see right here, really good job of the extension. I'm slowing it down, so it is slow, but see how he pulls himself back in. You want to make sure if they're not pulling him back in, but shedding down and away. So this drill really helps us in terms of, you're in the fit in the box. And again, I think it's a universal drill, even if you're not a 3-high team, that can really help you in terms of, getting things, in terms of defeating blocks. And it's real basic. It's not, you're some contact. And again, you can see here, he gets a nice finish at the end, thumbs up, elbows together, speed the lock, and then, right there what you want. Because again, and then it shows up in the game. So I'll get you a game clip here. So here you go. Got East Stroudsburg here. All right. They're going to run zone read. They're in a twin formation. All right. Rally it up. So again, you see the mesh drill. We're looking at our mic right here. Shuffle, bang, extend, rip. Works inside out to the sideline, and we get what we want. You see it from the tight angle too. Defeats it. Camera guy's a little late. But then you get your inside out to the sideline. I got another one here too. So here you go. This is against Gannon. They're going to run on balance, pin and pull. So you can see our backer does a nice job blowing it up, and it makes that whole play go flat. So again, you're getting multiple pullers, you're spilling it, again, defeating blocks. And then, kind of going back to that, the 3-high deal, you can see right here, okay, hey, there's our shade. All right, this time, hey, we're playing a 5-tech, we've got a 4-eye backside, we've got our mic, here's our extra safety. All right. Pull. He's going to match. This guy's going to set the edge here and spill it. Okay, he sets the edge. He's here. There's your extra safety inside. Backers over the top. Backside pursuit. So you can really get off. So, same thing you guys are seeing with buck sweep. You just got to be able to roll up those edges at some point, press it, and work to get over the top. Here it is versus counter. So not only do you get the button press, it's a great job by the mic. He presses the guard back right into the hole right here, 41. Ralph Lozada, he's a Bethlehem Catholic kid, just actually enlisted in the Marines. But you can see here what you're doing is shown up on tape. And then again, hey, we're getting those edges set. We're getting it spilled. Okay, 2 pullers here. Nose goes a little bit wide, but we're tying up 2. All right, tying up 2 with this. He can spill that. He's over the top. He settles. He's watching the puller. Bang, bang, backside pursuit, and there it is. So if you get heavy teams, again, here's another counter team. Pull. Mike does a good job. Set it over the top. Good penetration by our D line right here. And I love what our 5-tech does. He gets, nice and tight that he's under this. wrecks it. He really takes up 2, forces that thing to bounce. Everything spill theory, bounces the sideline. You now can run the alley. Mike button presses and gets over top. And then our rover folds in there to get the fit that you want to. And then off of that is your speed rip drill. So now you're just, hey, that guy has leverage with you. You're going to speed rip and then square that shoulder back up, and then fit and wrap and roll. So, I mean, these can be every day, block destruction drills, especially on your heavy contact days. And again, you're working those fundamentals of getting them to square their shoulder to the sideline. And 26 here, he was actually our middle safety guy for us, our nickel. Alex Pellegrin, he was a graduating senior from Unionville High School. He's actually a construction management major. Really smart kid. But this is kind of that drill period where he would come down with us. And again, we're working base fundamentals with how we split them up in practice. And seeing the game. Okay. So you can kind of see here, right? We're still in our 3 high deal. We're going to blitz this guy. Okay. We're going to replace, this is actually our middle guy coming down. And now we're playing our same concepts. You got your 3 over 2 here. You've got 2 backs. You're good here. You got your 2 for 1 concept there. And you're getting to basically a 4-3 fit. Spill, you do a good job of spilling it, wrapping it up, and then you're getting 11 hats to the football. Good shuffle. There's the speed rip there. You can see the backer squares, gets tight. And again, this is, kind of your answer. If you're going to get a lot of gap scheme, you can make it a 4-man rush, take your extra safety, put them down, and now it's just a 4-3 fit with your base coverages. So we're going to send that backer there. Bang, pull. Good speed rip by 41. He closes the gap. He ends up making the tackle. But the same drill we just did with getting skinny square back up, he does it right there on the guard 54 and a puller. Do a good job of spilling it. This is our extra safety, the nickel. He inserts, we box it. You got really good numbers. You got guys at the point of attack. And they got one more here. So you can shift and stem. So you can see, all right, post snap, where we're ending up with, hey, are we in 1 high? Are we in 2 high? Okay, pull. We spill that first pull. Our Mike does a good job here. It actually ends up taking out 2. We get it flat. You can see there's our extra safety. He's running the alley right there. Does a nice job, wrap and roll, and it's a TFL. Against East Stroudsburg, who's a very good team in our conference. Set the edge. There's a puller spill. There's your vice fit 2 for 1. Again, always going back to our 9 on 11 principle there. And that's the thing is, the answers people are starting to give you with this, our gap scheme, our pin and pull, our double pullers, 12, 13 personnel. And really just got to be able to match it, roll those guys up. And again, still comes down to really good block destruction. And again, pursuit, getting hats to the football. Got one more here. And then, like I said, feel free if you got, questions or anything. Right there, again, downhill zone. So back his side, he's going to bounce his feet, protect the RPO. He's good. All right, he hands it now. He adds. We're going to show up. Again, we're showing down here. We'll bring this guy off, post set the edge. He'll fold in. And again, having your 4 eyes do a really good job up front. And you can play some, here we got a 5 tech as well. So you can play, 5-1, 4 eye. And you're not changing really a whole lot with your fit. Here's your nose. He should tie up these 2. He now becomes your read player, even though he's a dive player. He ties up this. You got this here. Front side A. Protect the RPO, then he can fold. Or you can just stunt him in there, start him in a 5, and have him take the B gap. However you want to do it. Again, he's still reading triangle, the mic here, so he's getting zone. Bang, shuffle, speed rip to press. Bends it down the line, and you're right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything else? I mean, hopefully that was helpful in some ways.
No, it was. And I think it's helpful for our viewers. And like I said, if you got more questions for Coach, obviously, A, give him a follow on Twitter. B, you can check out a bunch of his other stuff that he has on CoachTube, YouTube, podcast. I mean, like I said, Coach has been on my stuff a couple times. Again, I know he's been on a couple other podcasts and a variety of other clinics and other places. So don't hesitate to check them out. I know their doors are always open at Millersville as well. They're very receptive to, I know coaches reaching out and wanting to watch practice or talk to them, and that's their whole staff. It's just fantastic. Otherwise, check out our sponsors, all that at Coachpad, like, share, subscribe, all that lovely jazz. Otherwise, that's another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast.